in Exodus, the different plagues that Egypt endured for so many years. They had these plagues. But throughout history, we always had plagues. There was always violence. What we see in today is nothing short of what was done years ago. The only difference is what they did back then, they used a lot of swords. Today we use a lot of guns. But, death is death no matter how you look at it, because these people were killing, according to what you've learned, or what I've learned and what people have learned in their lifetime, is a lot of people died over sometimes frivolous things. Like today, think about it. When they had the American Revolution War, we went to war because we didn't want British to take over. Was that the main reason that we went to war? Or was it because we had to hide different things? If you watch different movies, you learned something about history itself. So as we move forward, as we found out that this man Jesus has died and resurrected, if the events are true to our knowledge, and just remember that translating Aramaic was at the time probably hard. I learned that King David had some writers to translate the Bible, and it wasn't easy for these scrolls and for these prophets, or should I say these men who had visions, wrote these visions down. And it was kind of hard to translate, because remember, now we're moving from one language, Aramaic, to another language, to Greek, and then to Romans, whatever they spoke. And then you move forward, not only to that, you move forward to another culture who speaks a different language. So now, I find out that some of the stuff that was written in the Bible, if it's true or not, was misinterpreted. And it can happen. Think about, let's say you're an individual person. Let's say you only speak one language. Well, let's say you want to read a certain book, or let's say you become a translator and you need to translate this book into your own language. If you are not familiar with that language, or let's say you kind of know a little bit about the language, but there are still some words you don't know, how do you translate it? Would it be easy? Would it be hard? Would you have to find somebody else that could help you translate it? Think about this. What if only a handful of people, let's say about 10 or 20 people, are the only ones that kind of know a little bit, or should I say they have the same knowledge as you about that language? Would it be easy to translate it? That's the question. Well, as we look at the historical events, especially as we move forward and we go through Europe, and at the time, Europe was crowded. A lot of people don't know, about the 1000 AD or 1100 AD, Europe was crowded. What I mean is that we had a lot of Europeans who were put into prison. They were put into prison for drunkenness. It could be lewd, obscene behavior. It could have been anything at that time. Well, the kings and queens of these countries had to find a way to get rid of these criminals. And if you think about it, a lot of these people who rode these boats were probably criminals. Whoever rode with any of these captains of any ship, if you think about it,